Welcome back, everybody. Well, at this point what we need to do is start building our fly rod. First thing we're going to do is find the spine of our fly rod. And I'll show you what that entails. Just about everything on a fly rod, when you assemble that rod, all of the components are aligned along the belly of the rod, or what I like to call where the rod wants to bend naturally. So this is typically referred to as finding the spine of a rod, or finding the belly of a rod, whatever you want to call it. It's just literally finding where the fly rod, where its natural bend is. Because it's along that natural bend that you'll be aligning really most everything that goes on the fly rod. The individual guides, the tip top, and the reel seat. It's important that we find the natural bend of the rod before we start any part of the process. I like to start at the base and first install the reel seat and handle. But I can't even do that until I find the natural bend of this rod. Now we have a two-piece rod here, so there'll be a lot of bend in both pieces of the rod. If what you're dealing with is a four-piece rod, that base section or butt section, whatever you want to call it, there's really not a lot of bend going on in that base section. Most of the bend is happening in sections 2, 3, and 4. So it may not be quite as critical to find the spine of the butt section of a four-piece rod. But since we just have a two-piece rod and there'll be plenty of bend going on in both of those pieces, it's critical that we find the spine of both pieces of our rod. So as I said before, we're going to start with the base of this rod and work towards the tip top of the rod. But first things first, we have to find the natural bend of this rod, and we have to mark that location as well. So let's get started, and we'll show you how this is done. Really all you need to start with here is a good hard surface. A lot of people like to use a small mirror placed on a table, and a China marker, or anything you can use to make a temporary mark. If you don't have a China marker, some people have just taken masking tape, wrapped the tape all the way around the rod in 5 or 6 different locations, and then just used a regular ink pen to mark that tape wherever the natural bend of that rod is. So let's show you how we do that. Okay, so we're going to do the tip piece first, and we have to find where that natural bend is. Now, virtually all fly rods, when they're manufactured, it's just about all of them. It's some variation on wrapping graphite around some type of mandrel. So because of that manufacturing process and the fact that those pieces of graphite are meeting somewhere, you'll notice that just about every rod blank has this natural sweet spot, this spot where it wants to bend. And a lot of folks, kind of refer to the fact that every rod has a spine, every rod has a belly. Now with a fly rod or spinning rod, just about everything that you put on here is aligned with the belly or along the natural bend. All of the guides will be along the belly of the rod, and the reel hangs down on the belly of that rod as well. So we're going to go ahead and we need to find that location, because just about everything we do is based upon knowing where the spine of the rod is. I'm just going to take my China marker here, and I'm going to find a hard surface. I'm just going to take my little X-Acto knife case here. It's relatively hard. Don't do this on a soft surface by any means, because that's going to really influence how the rod is is going to bend. You want a good hard surface. A mirror is actually ideal for that. So I'm just going to take my palm. I'm going to put the bottom section there on a nice hard surface, and I'm just going to rotate. I'm going to kind of concentrate on what I'm feeling here, and you'll notice that as you bend this rod, and then rotate it. Okay, so bend, then rotate. That there's one particular spot where this rod really likes to bend. As you're rotating, it seems to just jump right into that spot. And that's what you're looking for. As soon as you find that spot, what I like to do is go ahead and remove my hand and kind of just put this on my shoulder and continue kind of going back and forth. You'll verify what you felt before, and then find where this rod simply bends the easiest. Okay, where it takes the least amount of downward pressure to put a bend in it. And depending on the stiffness of the piece of the rod blank that you're using, you may have to exert a little bit more force. This is a nice long tip section here because it's only a two-piece rod, so finding the spine is really pretty easy here. So I have just located the spine of this rod, and actually I've kind of located the belly. What I'm going to be marking here is the belly of the rod. So I'm going to go ahead and put some nice long marks with the China marker. Every place where I can get a quick look at this. Don't just put a couple marks at the end pieces. Be generous. Put a lot of marks here. If you mess up and you accidentally write on the rod where the spine isn't, go ahead and just use your thumbnail, pull that mark off. At this point, we have found where this rod naturally likes to bend, and that's right here. So it's marked it in several places. There we go. All right. At this point, I'll just do the next section here, and then the belly of our rod is marked along its full length using some good 1-inch marks, and then we can start getting down to business and assembling this thing, and then we'll be starting with the handle.